athirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hand. Feel the comfort flow inside you. Come this far, you understand.
Hi, welcome to Healing Outside the Box. This is our 162nd show.
Wow.
And I am your host, and my name is Rosemary Lachance, and I'm an energy healer and a spiritual therapist. Dina?
Hi, I am your co-host, and I am Dina Scungio, and I am a student and teacher of spirituality.
We are co-hosts for this thought-provoking series and are dedicated to providing you with food for thought information and answers to all modalities of alternative healing, spiritual development, animal welfare, environmental concerns, and so much more in the form of guest speakers who are experts in their field. Our format has changed. We are now a live call-in show, and the phone number will be shown on the screen, but it's 907-904-0436. They'll be showing it on there. I don't think it's 907. I may have the wrong number because I think it's 203. Okay, you may call in now until 9 o'clock. And so you can speak to our guests, you can ask any questions that you'd like, or you can speak to us, or just say hello.
To find out what shows are playing in your area and when they are playing, please contact the public service channel in your town. To find out their website, please check Rosemary's website, where you will find a list of all the towns that air this show under Healing Outside the Box. They will give you her website address at the end of the show. And also, please like us on Facebook under Healing Outside the Box. And you can learn about and see pictures of past guests on the show and ask questions and leave comments as well. We welcome your calls and to ask questions of the guest or Rosemary or myself, and please enjoy the show.
Okay. Tonight's show is called It's a Friendly Universe, and our guest is Hans Wilhelm, author and illustrator. Welcome, Hans. It's so good to have you here.
It's a delight to be here. Thank you.
Okay.
Right.
Let me tell you just a little bit about Hans. Very short bio. Hans was born in Germany and started his writing and illustrating career when he came to the United States. He has been a student of many of the spiritual paths for 50 years. You're not that old. No. I don't know. That must be wrong. In his YouTube video, he invites you, the viewers, to question and explore spirituality and your own relationship to the universe. Okay, and we're going to show a video that Hans made about how boredom can turn into creativity. Inspiration. So about 10 minutes, I guess, we'll be showing it. I'll let you know when. Now, I have questions about that video, so I don't want to ask that right now. But we're going to start with, my first question to you would be, what made you go on this spiritual path? What made you decide that, you're an accomplished author and illustrator? Your books are fantastic. They're sold all over the world. But the spirituality that you have...
That came before I became an author.
It came before?
Oh, yeah. When I was young, when I was a teenager, and I wanted to know more than what I heard in the churches. I doubted that eventually. And that was well before Google or anything else, so that was very difficult to find things out at that time.
Yeah.
And luckily, and really researching, I slowly got firstly with TM and then Edgar Cayce and so on, and all these different spiritual paths, which I found very helpful, and this sort of more and more opened me up to see the world and life differently and understand it differently. And that continued for the last 50 years. I get more and more intense and more intense. And I gathered a lot of knowledge, a little bit of wisdom, and some of them I practiced myself.
I know. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
I know.
I thought, since I do have also the skill of illustrating things, because I'm also an illustrator in my books, says, why not illustrate this? So, because I like to see things. I can't read manuals of how to put things together from IKEA and so on. I have to see the picture.
Me
and 1, 2, 3.
Me too, yeah.
I cannot read it. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
The same thing with the spiritual laws, which are also very physical laws in many ways. And if you see of how they work and how they interact and so on. It makes total sense to me. And I've done it in several lectures I gave over time, and people like this. So why not make videos out of it? And having traveled around the world and giving lectures all over the world, I'm a little bit tired of traveling. I just don't like airports anymore. So here comes YouTube, and has this wonderful idea of sort of putting it on the YouTube. And suddenly I've got thousands and hundreds of thousands of views, people who watch it all over the world, which is just wonderful. And I don't have to leave my home.
Isn't that nice?
And they correspond back with me from all over the world. So that is very nice. It's one of the good things about the internet. I mean, there's a lot of difficult things with the internet, but that's sort of
it is a good thing.
And a lot of people seem to be looking and seem to be searching, and it's just interesting. I mean, people are really in a very desperate situation, because my second most watched videos are on suicide. So I mean, if you think about it, the choice of what they want to watch. Karma is the first, and then suicide.
Karma, yeah.
I said, wow, so many people around the world want to see that video, which I thought I had put in last.
Right.
But there is definitely need for people who want to find out, why am I here? What am I doing? And
exactly.
And so I hope I give a little bit of hope and information, and if it works for the person or people, it's fine. If it doesn't, it's great. I have no interest in convincing anybody. I just present.
Yes.
Sort of like being like a lighthouse, Right. Just shine. I'm not running after any boats and rescue them.
Right.
I'm not rescuing anybody.
Right.
I'm just showing it here. Says this is how I understand it. It has worked in my life many times, and I know it works. And but if it works for you, great. If not, there are many options.
That's right. Hans is speaking about the Life Explained series, which we have done on our show. We're continuing to do them. We show 2 videos a week, and then we talk about them, try to explain it to you a little bit more in depth. And we've had good feedback on that, so we're going to continue with all of his. So it's a wonderful thing that these videos.
Sharing it. I'm and I'm delighted that you find it interesting.
We're enjoying this show very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Many different ones.
The what was I going to say? Words come in and out of my head so easily.
Cover your ears.
Yeah, that's it. If you cover it, it'll stay in there.
I was curious, when you were a child
remember.
going to the churches and things in Germany, what type of, were they Catholic, or what type
No,
of churches?
No, that was Lutheran, but my family did not go to church. My family, although officially they were falling on the Lutheran, but nobody went to church except my grandmother. So we went there semi for Christmas and Easter and so on. Not even for Easter, for Christmas. That was basically all. And later on, I explored various different other religious paths, but nothing really answered the important question, why we are here and where do we go and etc. It just didn't make much sense, because they didn't know much about what happens after death, and they didn't know much what happens before you were born. It was all sort of and they didn't teach about reincarnation, which Jesus, of course, did.
Right.
So they take this big, important component out, which makes total sense once you know about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that didn't help me much. And I'm sure they're doing all their best, and they're not taught otherwise. But I think there are many other informations out there. And as I said, the original teachings of Christianity is reincarnation, and Judaism as well. And half of the world believes in reincarnation.
They do.
Yeah,
we explained that it was outlawed in around the year 300. Yeah, it was outlawed, that belief in it. You couldn't believe it anymore. Can you imagine that? Yeah, that's right. And you're right. That does explain it all. And once our paths are familiar as far as our searching. I was Catholic, and I left that because I didn't get my answers. And I did the same thing you did: read and join a group, and this one and that one and the other one, and read some more and this and that, until when I learned about reincarnation. Whoa. Oh, it made so much sense then. Life truly made sense to me.
Do you remember when you learned it? Because that's all I've ever known my whole life. She's always taught me reincarnation. In fact, I was surprised to find that people didn't believe in that.
You're very fortunate to be a mother like that.
Yeah, it was, when I learned about it, it was, let's see. I think I started my search in 1975, and then I found Universal Life in 82. So it was between those two, actually 82, because that's when we learned about it from them. Yeah, somewhere around 82.
I ever remember believing is reincarnation. It's interesting. I like how you draw all the pictures, and it makes it easier to understand with through your
You talk about the
pictures
videos,
and
yeah.
all the videos. Yeah, it's a great series. I really enjoy those videos.
I know, they are. They really are. Is the control room ready yet with the video?
The karma one is very interesting.
The karma one.
Okay.
Yeah,
If you
I
see
like
how karma works and so on, how we store what we do and what we think and what we say in ourselves, in our soul, in our body, in the Akashic records and in the planets and so on, and if you see all how that connects and how it eventually all comes back to us, I think that is, but once anybody sees that, suddenly it says, oh my God, this is it. I only meet myself. Wherever I go, I only meet myself. Everything what I've sown in the past, I meet. My today is made up of my yesterdays. What I thought, I did in the yesterdays created my todays, and what I do today creates my future, my tomorrow. So we are in total control of our life. Whatever happens to us is a result of our past actions, thoughts, and thinking and speaking, and also our future will be the same ways. We are in total control. And no, we are never a victim.
Yeah, never a victim. That's right.
I try to remember that too, as when you were saying that, because I mean, I feel like in my job as a paramedic, every day I get a new opportunity to do the right thing, and I listen in my head. I hear you saying that, okay, well, what you do today will be what comes back to you. So I try not to, do the same silly things over and over again. Because that sticks in your head. I mean, it just listening to the, all your different points that you make in the videos, it sort of comes back around and comes back around, especially when you're doing things and I can hear you saying this or I can hear you saying that, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, all right. Let's straighten that out.
If it stops it once or twice and so on, I mean, nobody is changing instantly, but once in a while you get a reminder. And it's amazing. And it's amazing how easily we can stop our thoughts if we know how to. And how to also our habits and everything. It's pretty easy once we realize all the connection and so on. But we have to sort of be shown in a way that questioning a thought. I mean, I didn't know how to do this. Whatever I think should be or will be, to question is that true? Can I really know for sure that this and whatever I think should be is true? And in all cases, I can say no. I can never sure of what is right and what is wrong. Because there's always another alternative. And once I can let go of how things ought to be, life becomes much easier. So happiness basically is the lack of resistance.
Right.
When we do not resist, when we accept what is, we can be happy. It's as simple as that. It's not a big thing.
That's right. That's really true. And we're going to show the clip. I just wanted to say one thing. Both you and I know we were both asked, how do we know this to be true? What makes us the authority in all this? And I think I speak for you too to say that we don't feel that we are, that we just studied the different groups and read and everything, and then we kind of put it together for people and just explained it all so that then they can make a choice, like you said, not to save anybody. This is the information. Do what you want with it. It's up to you.
Definitely, yeah. If it works for you, great. If
Right.
it doesn't
That's
work,
what I say. I say,
fine.
throw it away. Take what works. Yeah.
No need.
No.
How did you find Universal Life? How did you come to find it?
All right, we'll tell that. We're going to show this.
Oh, you're showing it?
Yeah, let's write that down. Make sure we'll ask that question when we come back. Let's show this video now. It's called Boredom. Boredom. That's right.
Source of inspiration.
Yes.
It's a TED show.
Thank you. I'd like to share with you today how boredom has been a major inspiration in my life and in my work. If we go by Merriam-Webster, boredom means the state of being weary and restless through lack of interest. I think this is an outdated kind of quote on the internet. It should be updated, and I think it's also a lack of distractions today. When we are bored today, what do we do first? Get out our little iPhone and check our emails or whatever it is. So the lack of distraction, I think, is equally the reason why people are bored. Now, I was an expert of lack of distraction and boredom when I grew up in Germany long time ago. The city I grew up on is Bremen. And here you see Bremen, and as you can see, there is not much distraction up there. And I was lucky, or we were lucky, that our house wasn't destroyed, and it stood in a huge park, but I couldn't really play much in this park because when I grew up, it's always raining in Bremen. 6 weeks rain, non-stop. So I was really, really bored. I was actually double bored because my parents also didn't want to have a television. They didn't think that was cool. So I really was really having it up to here with everything. But thank God, I had my wonderful God-fearing mother, my aunt, Hedwig. She had a printing shop, and she supplied me with unlimited amount of paper. So I started to draw and create all these little stories, and I loved it. I discovered my passion. And what I really love to do in my life, I decided when I grew up, I wanted to become a god. Because gods are creating whole new worlds and universes and new characters and plots, and this is what I'm going to be. But when the time for me came to make my choices in career, I went to business school. And I became a business person. I moved to Africa, and there I worked in an office for many, many years. Eventually, I came to America, and I liked this place so much that I decided I would stay here. I got myself a green card, I rented a beach cottage, and I remembered my childhood dream to become a god. So I tried to start writing and illustrating children's books. And I was very lucky, the first 2 books sold immediately with the publisher. But then came the periods of waiting, the periods of utter boredom. See, when you are a writer, you are submitting new book proposals to your publishers, and they sit on it for weeks and weeks or months and months, and there isn't much else you can do than wait. So I was really, really bored. Again, I was double bored because I also didn't have a television. I saw some television here in America, and all I remembered were commercials for Preparation H and laxatives. And I thought, I'm too young for this. So suddenly I heard the story about Yuri Gagarin. You remember him, the guy who traveled around the world in outer space? Now the story goes that when he was in his little capsule, he suddenly heard this tapping on the outside of the capsule. Tap, 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 tap. He was getting nervous, and he looked at his instrument, he dismantled them to find the source, and he couldn't. And it continued, tap, tap, tap. And he realized that if this continues, on this whole journey, he is going mad, he's going crazy. And then he remembered the famous saying, what we resist persists. Although I think he remembered that in Russian. But so he decided to make friends with this tapping. He closed his eyes and really embraced the tapping. Tap, tap, tap. And as he was doing it, he had the inspiration that, hey, this tapping is the beat, the rhythm of a well-known Russian tune. And he started to hum it. And he started to sing it and then to whistle it. And he says this was his best companion on the entire trip. So I thought to myself, if big Yuri Gagarin can do it in outer space, I can do it here on Earth. So I took my boredom, and I felt it in my body, sat down, and I really showered it with love. And you know what happened? The charge, the intensity of boredom vanished. And it became merely a memory. And the moment it became a memory, it was no longer an active part in me. Whoosh! It opened up into the world for me, the world of Boris. The little bear. The bear who was very, very bored, and he lived with his little sister, and his sister was a busybody, and I could play with this whole subject, and out came the story of totally bored Boris. Now the next time, a week later, I was bored again. But this time it was different. I realized something very important. Boredom, as we heard earlier, is the state of being weary and listless. But it's just the state. Underneath the state are all the emotions we do not wish to deal with, all the negative things, the subtle things, the things which we rather don't face. And this time, the emotion was slightly different. It was a feeling of loneliness. Having lived in Africa with lots of friends and many fellow workers, I suddenly had chosen a profession which is very isolating, very lonely. Anybody who wants to become a writer, think about it twice. So there I was, and having this feeling of loneliness. So I sat down, and I really felt it in my body, allowed to feel it in my body, showered it with love, and it vanished. At the moment it did it, the world opened up for Chestnut, the little squirrel in the tree trunk, who was lonely. And he meets Morris, the otter. Of course, otters are never lonely. And out of this comes this fun little story, which is later called The Never Lonely Again. So it continued. A week later, I had another feeling. I had a feeling on boredom which was slightly different. It was a feeling of loss. A dear friend with whom I made many walks on this, by the sea got married and moved away, and I felt the loss of this person very much so. So I sat down and allowed myself to really feel this feeling and loved it. And the moment I did, the charge and intensity of the feeling vanished and opened up the story of Brian and Warren. Brian was a white little duck, and Warren, his friend, was a wild duck, a mallet, and together they have these wonderful, fun adventures. Until one day, Warren says to Brian, you know, I'm going with my family down south for the winter. So the breakup or the challenge of this friendship, and they've got this wonderful experiences. So this happened to me because I really was able to look at these emotions. You see, what I discovered is there are only two actions in the whole universe. One is the giving and sending of love or energy, and the other one is receiving and being open or crying out for love and energy. And obviously our so-called subtle negative emotions are just there to want to be loved, like any other kids or whatever want to be loved. And once we love it, they come down and they work. At least it worked for me. A little bit later, again, I had a subtle feeling of boredom, and I realized, what is this? It was actually a little self-doubt I had. I had to do a project I wasn't sure I could do. And once I sat down, felt it, allowed it in myself, again, the inspiration came with Josephine. Josephine was a little penguin who had to learn to dance ballet, and she didn't want to, and she thought she couldn't. But of course, in the end of the story, with lots of fun, she not only learns it, but she teaches all the other animals to do ballet too. So this is how it worked. So after a while, I had something like a dozen of these little stories together, all inspired through my feeling of boredoms. And I didn't know whether these stories were any good. But I took them to Random House anyway and showed them to them, and they just flipped over. They loved everything. They bought the whole lot. And then they asked me whether I would be prepared to start my own Hans Wilhelm book club. Well, that was quite an honor. And yes, and this is how the Merry Tale, which we later called it, the book club started. Now, this all is a long, long time ago. This is something like 30 years plus ago, in the last century. Since then, I have created, as I said, over 200 more books, and many of these books were initiated or inspired by moments of boredom. But my life has changed, like your life most likely has changed, because I sooner or later also got a television set. I got a computer, an iPad, an iPhone. And today, whenever I feel a little bit coming up of boredom in a checkout list or at the dentist's office, out comes the little distractor. And always a cat video to watch or whatever. The only time where we can't use our iPhone is actually in the shower. But that is, I think, only a question of time till Apple will have a shower-proof iPhone. And then we can text there and exchange some selfies. We have collectively given up the only luxury there is in life, which is time. So I have, to be really bored again, physically remove myself from the hectic East Coast, and I go to my studio in Jamaica. Here in Jamaica, in a small hotel, which has no television, no radio, no hi-fi, I am allowing myself to be totally bored. Do you want to see my studio? This is my studio, and these are my feet. The walls are the sea, and the palm trees, and the ceiling is the sky. This is where I can still fully relax and really doodle and come up with new ideas. Now, I have no idea whether that what worked for me will also work for you. But if you want to try it out, simply saying, first of all, feel the feeling in your body. Don't think it, feel it. See where it is, how it is, and how it works. And then shower it with love as much as you can. And then be ready to be inspired, or I would say more poetically, be ready to be kissed by the muses. Thank you.
That was very, very nice.
Thank you.
I have a question about that. When you say shower it with love, what does that mean, shower these emotions with love?
Well, first of all, you feel the emotion in yourself. You feel where the tenseness is, where the whatever it is in your body. Usually it's tenseness or whatever it is. And maybe you can also visualize it, what color it is and so on. And then you visualize really white light, love, coming over you and filling the whole body with you. And as you breathe it in, the love light, the cosmic love, you imagine your whole body becoming lighter and lighter and lighter. So that's in a way how you just feel yourself. You love the emotion, you totally shower it with love. Yourself as well as the emotion. So everybody calms down, everybody is happy, everybody gets what they want, which is love. And in the way, then the emotion will no longer be bothering you, because it's basically all what we need. It's love. That is the only healing medicine which we have in life, and you do it with your Reiki. And we can give it to ourselves by imagining it and really let it happen. Flood ourselves with this white light. White light and love is basically the same. The cosmic love is all-inclusive, unlimited, and unconditional. And white light is also all-inclusive. All the colors of the rainbow are in the white light. You take one little color out, it's no longer white. So it is a total inclusion of everything. So the white light and love, shower it, feel yourself to be in a cocoon or in a light bubble, a white light bubble, and just really let your whole body soak it in, soak it in. And once you are ready later on for another exercise, you can then share it, and you can include the earth as well and shower the whole earth in it as well.
Oh, that's nice.
To make it bigger, then you can pass it on. But initially, when you are yourself not in a good frame of mind, feel the emotion, what it is, what really upsets you. Don't think about where does it come from, etc. So that's another exercise. But at the moment you just feel lousy, it's it, okay. Just love yourself for feeling lousy. Love the lousiness. Love that one. And just sort of love it, and then see what comes from it.
Okay, I'm glad. That's very good. That's good exercise. I like that.
That's what stirs creative thoughts in you to get in touch with those. I think that's one of the biggest reasons, like you were saying, a lot of people watch your video on suicide. I think one of the biggest reasons is because people don't know how to feel that. They have no clue how to feel loved. I mean, I see a lot of people like that on the ambulance. They just, whether their upbringing was bad, they never felt love from their parents.
Right.
They do not have an idea.
That is very true. That is very difficult. I think every psychologist would say that probably the biggest difference is that people don't think they feel love, or that neither do they deserve love. And I think if it's really such a blockage, we can open ourselves up and says, I'm going to allow myself to receive love. We may not quite able to say, I receive love, because there may be this mental blockage. But if we say in our meditation quite is, I'm allowing myself to be open to love, it would be a first step to let it happen, to give ourselves permission to be loved. So we allow ourselves to feel the love is the opening for that. And then it can continue further. But we have to break through this one. As you quite correctly say, so many people feel they do not deserve love. Neither do they know what love is.
I think that's where it starts, is they don't know what love is. And,
right.
You know, sometimes I try to figure out how to help someone feel better. In the short term. I mean, there's only so much, I only have so much time between where I pick them up and bringing them to the hospital. And I try to figure out a way, you know, from some of your videos and things, I try to figure out a way to help them maybe see something differently, where it'll open up a little, poke a little light in, you know, in their dark cloud, and maybe they'll start to see things. But it's so hard. Sometimes I don't know what to say. Sometimes I just hug people, you know, or try to calm them down, or try to figure something out.
Just be with them. Send it in your thoughts. Your thoughts are as powerful as your words are. I think they sense if you are calm and totally collected. We trust the reason why people heal or not heal has a lot to do with how much confidence we have in our doctor. If we trust our doctor and what he prescribes, even if he prescribes poison, we can still get healed, because a trust in our doctor is more important than anything else, like a placebo effect. And the same with you. If you are there, fully there, with the person, calm, quiet, and you can shower yourself with love, and the patient as well, just doing it without saying anything, that solid presence of yourself, I think can be tremendous help of support. Just knowing that you are, but if you are running like hectic and I don't know what to do, that nervousness will be transferred to the patient and will pick it up.
Yeah.
So it is up to you to be centered, to know that you are guided by your guardian spirits to do what needs to be done to that person right now. You're not alone in this. And you have total support. You've got a whole army of helpers behind you to help this one person who is in crisis. And you rely and connect with them, let them feed you, fill yourself up with it, and that you will automatically do the right thing, and you will automatically say the right thing to the person if you trust that you are guided. And if you don't say anything, that may be right too. But just a touch of a hand, if a person is open for that, not even that people are always open for.
Yeah, no, I try to do that with some people. Some people, they just want to be left alone, and they want to be angry, and they want to stay right where they're at.
Yes,
they don't want to be helped.
You see? And you have to honor that too. You have to honor that too. All you have to do, let not your light diminish because of them.
Right.
You stay in the light, and what they do, and if they see the light and want your help, then there is an opening, and if not, you are there for them 100%.
I don't know, but sometimes I feel, I start to get angry when people don't, it's not that they don't listen to me, but they just won't see any other way than their little square. And they want out of their square, but they don't see any way.
Can you give an example?
Can
you give an example?
Like a patient, recently I had a patient who wanted to commit suicide. That's why we were called, because her boyfriend broke up with her, and her mother didn't love her, and she wanted to run away and all that. And I started to talk, and she was crying. And I started to talk to her, tried to put my hand on her shoulder, get off of me, you know. And I started to talk to her about how he's not the only person out there. That, you know, Mom taught me that with every person that leaves your life, that usually means somebody better's coming along. And she didn't want to hear nothing. She wanted to stay in her little box of despair and sadness, and didn't even want to know that there was something possible on the other side. And so
maybe that was too early.
Too early.
I think that was too early. That sounds to me at the moment, so confused.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They don't get what we want in life. That sort of
what we
upsets
want.
If that's the big problem, that we think this is what we must have, and if we don't get it, that's the frustration there. Yeah, but being there for you, that's all. I know. When I was a counselor, I had many suicide calls on the phone, and to deal with it. And it's not easy and I only do telephone counseling with people who are really the last help. They don't really want to die, they just want to speak to still somebody before they might do it, but they have done also killed themselves. So I had to train myself. It says, how will I deal with it if somebody really dies? And I haven't helped them in any way. So I had to deal with that as well, and that's okay. As long as I did what I feel is the right thing to do, and we have to allow that. I mean, we are, as I said, I'm not running after the ships and rescue them.
It's hard to carry that weight, though, sometimes, I think.
Yeah, we can put it onto ourselves. If we feel, if our head is clear and our heart is right, and we do that for love, and we are here present, and we are, all which is required is presence, to be there, presence. And if we are present, not so much in our thinking, then we will say the right words at the right time.
I remember your brother, it was a lesson I really learned when he lost his dog, when his, you know, he lost his dog. And I try to talk to him, I try to tell him, you can get another dog and you can get another puppy and start all over again with him. And he said to me, I don't want another dog, I want that dog.
Right.
And that's all he had to say, and I said, I know what he means. It's too soon, like Hans said. It's too soon.
Oh, okay, well, that's...
It's too soon.
I had to write that down. Then maybe sometimes I get lost in... am I really trying to do something for somebody? Is it my ego?
Yeah,
do I really want to help?
Yeah.
Why am I getting angry? You know, I don't want to force it on, but I also don't want to see them
They
sad.
have to come with a solution. We have to just be there. They have to come up with a solution, otherwise it doesn't work.
When we did your video on why we kill, and you were talking about how people group off into groups. They want to wear the badges, they want to wear the uniforms, they want to... it was, the thought that came to me was, I think that people do that because when we're on the other side, when we're in heaven or wherever we are, we're all part of a giant group, and we all feel like we have a giant family together, and a lot of people here feel lonely. because they
We
don't
feel,
have that.
and there's nothing wrong to feel close to a group of people, to celebrate this. Yeah, this is a natural thing of the cause and effect. We are attracted to a certain group of people, which is fine. This is what we need to interact with other people. That's why we are here. So it's very important that we do have a group of people, we feel comfortable with it. The problem becomes if somebody tries to rule that group and gives them symbols and flags and names, and let's all become this one gang or group or tribe, nationality, race, or whatever it is, and we just says, I am this, and we are very proud of whatever it is, then sooner or later it's the us and the them. But if we are normally connecting with all the people who'd like to collect, I don't know, stamps or whatever it is, that's lovely, it's nice. But it's usually in religion and in government that somebody is using the group for their own power needs. And then they give slogans like we are the greatest, we are the whatever, the chosen one, or we are the
Right, that's the big thing, yeah.
Whatever it is, a master race, and then everybody, the chest fell and we are strong, and the others are not as wonderful as we are.
Right, we're special.
And the moment we have that feeling, war. It's always a war. So there is a difference between feeling closeness, affiliation to somebody else, another group, versus joining a group which has symbols, flags, dogmas, rules, and whatever it is. And this is what we have to free ourselves. And part of our being here is to be free ourselves. And we have to free ourselves of all dogmas, of all kind of rituals, and also kind of association to all kinds of these things. Because they bind us. They bring us back to this planet. Whenever we have got a strong liking for some kind of symbol, whatever it is, if it's really, really strong, that can call us back in the next reincarnation. So we have to let go of it, see the bigger, see the humankind be sort of close to everybody, to see the oneness and not the separateness. So then we slowly grow and let go of all the attachments. We have to let go. Let go, let go, particularly of these group identities which are often given to us in religion as well as in nationalities. Tribalism. It is a reason for all the wars.
Yes, it is. We think that we're better. We think we're the good guys, they're the bad guys, and that's so bad.
Train us to think that.
Yeah.
But I also, I'm attracted to the oneness with people of like mind. I'm attracted to that a
Oh,
lot.
yeah, we like that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
But just be aware that the ego can easily slip in. This has been done with all the wonderful paths over thousands of years. Whenever there was Jesus, there was a Muhammad, there was a Buddha, whatever it is, they came at this wonderful teaching, and then the organization came, let's use it. And every time they have made this group organization, like the churches or whatever it is, and distorted the teaching and became big power structures. And the power structures brought all the wars, most of the wars at least. And the same applies to nations as well. But this is the thing, the distortion, this sort of whatever there's this wonderful idea easily gets distorted.
We do that, we do that.
We have the only connection is ourselves with God, and that nobody needs to be between us. To really make the connection with divinity in ourselves. We are the temple, we are the Holy Grail, that is our body, and the chalice, and in ourselves is basically the whole universe. And that's the only connection we really need for guidance, for strength and support. But we still can enjoy everybody around us.
I get stuck in the whole, I know I was with the God or the great energy before I came here, and I knew everything before I came here. When you come here, you forget everything. This is what I was taught. But where I'm stuck always is, if I knew everything when I was there, and I was the person that I feel like I am, like I love everyone. I sometimes love people too much. They don't know how to receive it, so they don't understand. And I feel like if I was that there and I'm not here, why did I come here? That's what I'm stuck with. Like, why did I want to come here? What was it? The drama, all the stuff why did I come here when it was wonderful there and safe and quiet? And I think that maybe I was drawn to the drama of coming to the planet. I don't know. I still get stuck in that. Like you say, people want to know, why are we here? What attracted us to come here?
Well, I think there are three reasons why we are here, three purposes. The first reason is to become divine again, which means letting go of all the negative programs, to really, because obviously we had negative vibrations that attracted us to the lower frequency of three-dimensional physicality, material world. We still had that. We have to overcome it. So we have to let go of all the negativity, negative thoughts, speaking, acting, and so on, bad habits or whatever it is, attachments, strong attachments, whatever it is, to worldly stuff, etc., ego stuff, etc. So to become divine again, which we are by nature, to really become pure again, and then we can vibrate high already. That's one the reason. And the second reason, of course, is to let go of karma. There may be still old stuff from previous lifetime which still haven't been balanced out. You may face them now in one form or the other in your life as a marriage and family or whatever it is. There may be certain areas which you wish wouldn't be there. There's something which may be related to a previous lifetime, maybe not. I'm just putting it out there. But it could be that you go through this, so now to balance it, whatever it is, to experience what it is to have this or not to have this or whatever it is. So it can be the balance of it, to experience. And it's a gift. It's not punishment. So that you become much richer, much more compassionate, understand people much, much better. So it again brings your vibration higher. Karma is something wonderful. Even the so-called bad karma is something wonderful. There is no good karma. Good karma is our natural being. When we are good and nice, this is how we are by truth. We don't create good karma. When we are acting from our higher selves, we automatically on the highest vibration. That doesn't create karma. Being good doesn't create karma. Only the negativity brings shadow and pulls us back. And the third one, of course, there are other reasons here, particularly when you are like yourself in a healing profession. There is a possibility, and a lot of people have incarnated, particularly since the 60s of last centuries, to really help the world as it goes through the various different stages. You come as a helper. You may not have the karma. You may not have to learn this. You come as a loving soul, having seen the planet Earth inhabitants struggling like crazy to survive. Says, I can help. I bring a little bit of light here. And what you are doing there as a paramedic and so on is a very important moment where you can bring life instantly to somebody who desperately needs it for a few minutes, at least. And so that may be another reason why we're here. And then, of course, we have got also personal reason, like we may have to take care of somebody who's a young person or an elder person and so on, something really who occupies our life and our mind all the time. And then, if that is not enough, and if you're lucky enough that you then have still time to sit down and ponder, like a lot of New Age people says, oh, what is my purpose? Then you can make the one big step and ask yourself, what really excites you in life? What is really exciting you? Because excitement or ecstasy or joy is your true essence. And whenever we feel our true essence, it's like a GPS system. It brings us in the direction of where we ought to go. Follow your bliss, did Joseph Campbell say a long time ago. I can say, follow your excitement and excitement. I tell you how it worked for me, very simple. When you saw how I wanted to become a writer, illustrator. As a child already, I never met a writer and illustrator. It was totally I couldn't comprehend that I could make a living of it. That's why I took the business class. Later on, in South Africa, I worked in a theater as a part-time in the evening. That excited me. I acted in the theater group. It was wonderful for several years. And then this theater group closed. And because I was on stage, some other friends asked me to join them in a political cabaret, which I did, and I enjoyed thoroughly. I followed my excitement without expectation of what it led to. Now, in that group was a young man, similar like me. He was working also in the office, but at heart an artist. And he suddenly decided to become a children's book writer and illustrator. And I saw his development and how he, like a rocket, took off in Germany. He went to Germany and became a big star there and writer. That opened my eyes. Oh my God, I can make a living of this. You see, by following my excitement, I was led to this person. I followed my excitement not to have a certain goal. I never wanted to become an actor. I found acting totally boring. After a few weeks, always the same lines, utterly stupid. But I had fun. The intermission, the interaction with people was great. So what I'm saying is, follow your excitement, whatever it may be, as long as you can, and then follow your next excitement, because it may go zigzag and bring you right there where you ought to be. It is your guiding, your GPS system. It is your true self, your higher self, brings out in you your true essence, which is ecstasy, which is joy, which is love. That is who you are, and I am, what everybody else is. And there are moments in life where we can feel this. Baking a cake can be it, going ice skating, whatever it is. Do it. Do follow that excitement, because you might meet a person who brings you to somewhere else, who meets you somewhere else, etc. And tomorrow you suddenly become, I don't know, maybe the President of the United States. I don't know. But it's all possible. The excitement is our guiding thing, but this again is mostly for people who have covered most of the other field in their life. They already have taken care of it. They have enough time. Majority of people are barely there surviving, keeping the house shelter over the roof.
Yes, roof over their head.
But in our first world society, we still have a lot of time sometimes where we wonder, what is my purpose? And then I think the best thing is to follow your excitement. It just, without expectations of where you lead to.
Yeah, see?
It's interesting. I feel like every day I have to try to, before I do something for me, I have to do something for somebody else, and then I feel more comfortable doing for me.
Really? You feel that way?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
It
But
is.
don't forget that whatever you do someone else, you're doing to yourself. The other and you are one. It's only an illusion, the separation. Whatever you give to another person, you always give to yourself. You can never give anything away. You can never give anything away. You only give to yourself. There is no separation between you and me. Our energy fields are basically all together. It is all one. It's a oneness. The whole universe is a oneness. Separation is the illusion we have on the three-dimensional world we are living here. That we believe you are one, you're then here, the flower, everything is separate. In truth, it's all one. And whatever you do and think and so on affects me and everybody else. It's a holistic universe where everything what happens in the smallest affects the entire universe. So we are all connected. So I say this because very often we can please our ego. Oh, I'm doing something good for someone else. This can get into my ego and says what a nice person I am. So I have to remind myself that I'm not doing anything to another person. I'm doing it to myself. And I take the example of, when you when your finger hurts or bleeds or something, what you do, you just want to put a little Band-Aid on it without thinking of doing something wonderful and so on. No, because you know the finger is part of you. You do not have the thought of, now I'm doing something wonderful to my finger. I'm putting a Band-Aid on and I will be such a nice person.
That's a good example.
Automatically. And this is how our giving
That's a
should
good
be.
one.
Very automatically. I give to you because this is where I see a need. I do have $10. You need $10. Here it is. And that's fine. And there is no process of, what a nice person I am. I gave $10 today, which I don't do, because putting on a Band-Aid on my finger is the same as giving it to someone else. And there is no separation. We are all one. And whether you give it to a person in Bangladesh or in Iraq or whatever it is, or your neighbor, it doesn't matter. We are all one. We forget that. The oneness is a very important concept. And some things I always feel, Edgar Cayce brought it out, because people have problem with the concept of oneness, since we see the separation. It says, use the word fullness. Work with fullness.
Fullness, yeah.
Feel the fullness. If you can't feel the oneness, feel the fullness. Meaning basically being close to the divinity and being one with divinity. Once you feel fullness in yourself, maybe that's easier if you started off talking about feeling love. Maybe I can feel fullness. I don't know whether I have a problem feeling love. Maybe fullness is an easier thing. If I can feel the fullness of the universe in me, that may be easier. And then, of course, I feel much more at ease and much more secure.
It's easy. That's a better way to approach. For many years, she tried to teach me not to say angry things to people, not to be angry with people, not to wish them harm when they make you mad, when they do mean things to you, because it'll come back to you. And it took me a really, really long time to realize that when someone's being a terrible, terrible person, that hating them isn't helping. that you have to pray for them and send them love and all that. And it took me a long time to grasp that feeling. And I finally, I mean, over the last year, I mean, I'm, you know, in my 40s, finally understood that. And it took me so long to understand it.
Yeah.
So long.
Well, they threaten our ego, and I was, how dare you? How dare you? And our ego wakes up and says, how dare you? That's where the problem is, that we are sort of come back on it. They are on the ego level because they're angry, and they challenge our ego. And if we can take our ego out of it, they have nothing to bounce onto.
That's the fire I was telling you about.
That's a great way to say that what you're doing for someone, you're doing for yourself. So if you're hating them, then you're hating yourself.
Yourself, yeah. And if they make you upset, then there's something in them that is in you which you have not loved.
And you hated that.
You know,
Everybody hates that when you tell them that. The law of protection, yeah. Oh, I know. That's a
I
toughie.
don't like in my neighbor is something
It's
I
in
have
me.
not loved.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Accepted in me, and there is no exception, none.
None.
I tried many ways that I thought, this must be a section. It isn't.
I know.
That is the
I
reason why
hate
we
that.
do
There's no
hate.
escape from that.
I know.
Everything where we look is a mirror of ourselves. Wherever we look, we only see ourselves. Everything is in total synchronicity. Every person, everything, what we see, every plant, every item, and so on, is a part of ourselves. We are projecting it basically out, our reality. We are picturing ourselves into this reality. And we basically see only ourselves. And if there's something which we do not like, it's in us. But it is in us. And that's where the cleaning up. It's like the film reel where we have to clean the lens if we want to see a clean picture. First, we get this
It's hard to face that reality.
People that make me the most angry are the people that treat others unfairly and wrong, and they make me angry. But I don't see that in myself, so that's a hard one for me to understand. I feel like you know, my friend used to say, well, if you don't like it, then get in the unfair line, you know. And those are the people that people who pick on people who don't have the power to stand up for themselves, or don't have the power to, maybe that's
But can you
what
see
it
that
is.
the person who is doing the picking is actually the one who needs the help?
But if I don't like that in them, but I don't feel like I do
If you see
that.
the person as the one who needs help, you may approach them differently. At the moment you see they're the bad guys. They shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
But every human being is doing the best they can do at any given time, ever. A person who is angry, a person who is hurtful, is doing the best he or she thinks she can do at this very moment. This is their very best way. And they are confused enough to hurt another person. So they may need some attention or love or whatever it is. They are in a predicament of being nasty, of being hurtful. That is the person in pain.
And once you realize that, Dini, then you won't dislike it in them, because you don't like, it's not that you don't like them, it's you don't like the action that they're
Right, it's the action.
right. So then you'll, like Hans said, then you'll be able to understand that they need the help.
Well, there's one person that I see too often who angers me too often, and the last time I saw him, I got so angry with him because of what he did and said to somebody. I went, I'm gonna pray for you, and I walked away. And he just stood there like, what?
Oh, that's a lovely line.
It is.
That is good. That is good. Instead of saying, you're a bad character, I'm going to pray for you. I think that is a lovely line.
It is. I'm going to remember that.
I had to walk away.
That was really good, Dina. Really, really good.
I think way ahead there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, before I wrote it down, you asked a question before we watched the DVD that about how did we find Universal Life? I don't know if you want to answer. I felt I was led there.
Yeah, it's just
Say-
one of the many parts
yeah.
which are there and which we felt right at the time.
How did you find it, though? I mean, where did you see it? How did you find it?
mutual friends.
Harry.
Harry, yeah.
Harry.
Oh,
had
okay.
the habit of inviting all funny people.
Yeah, he did.
He had this forum and invited all strange people.
Yes.
And that's how we got some strange people, and we just sort of got stuck.
Yeah.
Harry Gaetano?
Yeah, Harry Gaetano.
Oh, wow.
He was one of the first friends I met when we came back from Florida.
Passed, right?
Yeah, he passed on. And then they found out all the wonderful things he did when he was alive that they didn't know he did when he was alive, you know. Yeah. And yeah, Harry was like that. And he was the person that friended me, and I didn't have anyone to talk about spirituality. I thought, I'm going to go out of my mind if I don't find somebody to talk to about this. And up came Harry.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then I guess he called us all that night, didn't he? You were with the Edgar Casey study group.
Yeah.
I was searching, and he said, these people come from New York. They're originally from Germany. Go, and would you like to hear what they have to say, right? Yeah. And they came, and we both happened. It was fate that we met, and that's how it started.
And again, it's a group which has no membership, no
Right.
it's
yeah.
nothing. It's totally just only only the word basically, and it's up to you what to do with it. And I think that type of spirituality is a very appealing
Exactly.
because it does not bind you in any form, in any way.
I loved what they said in the beginning. This is not the only way. There's many ways back home to God.
Sure.
If you like it, then follow. If you don't, find something that you like. And that is the kind of thing that then you wouldn't mind joining. They're not saying, this is the way, this is what you have to do. No, nothing to join that way.
We just came for the lectures.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, most of what I learned about religion was from Granny, and she was Catholic.
Yeah.
But there was, like you said, there was so many restrictions. There was, don't do this, don't do that, and don't do them, and it never felt right. It never felt right.
But that's how you keep the masses quiet and calm. Really give them a lot of things, and always sex is bad and so on. Really, then they feel all guilty because they all are sexual beings, and you really have them.
It's true. It's true.
All these wonderful stories in the confessions.
Oh, man. Wow.
That's true.
It's a total manipulation. It's total crazy. But all religions play it in one organized religion.
Yeah, they all do. They all do.
There was one
They
thing,
want-
one of your videos where you were talking about organ donation.
Yes.
That I wasn't sure I understood completely about when someone that whether it was good or bad, or when someone had someone else's organs.
Well, normally the soul at the moment of death leaves the body very quickly, and the silver cord, as it's called, which is a connection cord between the body and the soul, is cut and is gone. But very often, particularly in accidents and so on, in motor accidents, for instance, the young soul, very often teenager and so on, the idea of dying doesn't enter somebody with 18 usually. And they are struggling, and they hold on to this body because they're all there, and they know they have never even given thought that there may be something after it or may not after it. So their dying process is very slowly. So they cling to the body and don't want to let go very often. So it can take hours or days. And the brain waves can be dead. The brain can be dead. There can be no movement. And at that moment, it's brain dead. The doctor says he is dead. But the soul is still attached to the body. So then they take this body, open the body up, and rip out all the organs and so on. But the soul is present, experience all the pain. In the body, the transplants of body transplants, I would question. I'm not saying don't do it, but be aware of what you're doing, because the other thing is that the soul is so attached to it, it can jump to the next person. There are many books written about people who have taken on the soul of the donor. They're attached to the body part and they go. So there are two souls in the recipient. There are, on my video, I've got books on names on people who can read about it.
Yeah,
how
I
they
wrote some
basically
down.
suddenly two souls in your body. So basically, you are taking on the karma of another person.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you are. Yeah. Boy, I wish we could. I wish we could go on and talk for hours, but it's time to give the contact information. Oh, you have to. We should just have the Hans show. To contact Hans, it's Hans Wilhelm. He's at phone number 203-222-9341. His email is hans@hanswilhelm.com. His website is lifeexplained.com, www.lifeexplained.com, where we do our things. Okay, and And
Where can people find your books? Amazon or
anywhere.
It's on my website, yeah.
Anywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
they can order them?
To learn more information about this show or any of our past shows, please contact us at whitebuffalo8@comcast.net, or to meet me, Rosemary Lachance, it's 203-627-7966, or my website, rosemarylachance.com, and you can write a letter to this TV station and ask questions. And we're also on Facebook under Healing Outside the Box. And the quote for tonight is, imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited to all we now know and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world and all there ever will be to know and understand. And that's by Albert Einstein.
Smart guy.
Hans, it was so wonderful to have you here. It's always went by so fast. Oh my God, it's just too fast.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good night, everyone.
Feel your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands.